Now the big one, live odds, sportsbookreview.com. Saturday night, 5 o'clock Pacific, ESPN. Gonzaga hits the road to take on St. Mary's. It's number 1 against number 20, and it's 25-0 against 22-2. A unique spot and one of the underrated home court advantages in college, Teddy.
Yeah, I mean, McCain Pavilion may well be the single loudest setting for a college basketball all year. Mark Titus went to Gonzaga St. Mary's. Mark Titus from Grantland.com. He went there in February 2015. I eventually figured it out, walked into the gym and took my seat. 2 minutes later, I was sweating. 5 minutes after that, my back started hurting. This is when I realized that I'd flown across the country and driven a half hour to a tiny town in Northern California just to have the most miserable basketball experience of my life. But then it happened. St. Mary's scored its first basket of the game, and the home crowd exploded. I went from thinking the Gales needed an upgrade to hoping they never get a new gym. That's because, and I don't care if you don't believe me, McCain Pavilion on Saturday night was as insane of a college basketball atmosphere as I've ever experienced. Yeah, 3,500 fans, Paulie. And you know what? That's 3,500 fans who will be as loud as any 3,500 people in the country on Saturday.
And I'll tell you, St. Mary's won't be intimidated because they swept Gonzaga last year in the regular season, then lost in the championship game out here, the conference tournament in Vegas. The first meeting, Gonzaga was laying 5. It was 79-56, rebounds even. But why'd they get the W?
Well, shooting percentages. Gonzaga, 64.7. They hit 7 of 13 triples. St. Mary's, 39.7. And just 6 of 16 from beyond the arc. So when you say the turnovers are equal, neither team turned it over. The rebounds are equal. It was all shooting. Zags made their shots. Gales didn't. Now, that doesn't always happen when it comes to McKeon Arena. Of course, you know, it's hot, it's humid, it's cramped, it's a giant concrete box, and it doesn't absorb any noise. It gets ridiculously loud in that concept. So Gonzaga in that venue. Gonzaga hitting 65% from the floor in the first meeting. You know, it's going to be real hard for them to match that type of shooting percentage in the rematch.
Nobody plays slower than St. Mary's. Not just 351 overall, but nearly slowest both ways. 350 on offense and 351 on defense. What was that game last week against San Diego? They had like 17 points late in the game.
Well, that's just it. I mean, they are going to slow it down and take 25, 30 plus seconds on every possession on the offensive end, and they force opponents to do the same thing on defense. But it's a big issue for St. Mary's. You know, the big man, 6'11", 255, Jacques Landale. He only had 19 minutes in that first meeting before fouling out. A guy who averages 17 points and 9.5 boards per game. Landale, a non-factor when the Zags hit all of those shots the first time around. I don't expect it to be a non-factor in the rematch.
So tough atmosphere, tough venue as we talked about, but Nigel Williams-Goss has led the way. He was huge in the win at BYU, and that holds 20,000. They were going crazy there, although he's used to tough road environments transferring in from Washington at the Pac-12. But are they ready for a close game, Teddy? They're so good, 25-0, and the non-conference was a long time ago with the Arizona win. And when's the last time they've been in a close game?
Well, that's my biggest concern about Gonzaga, not just for this game, but moving forward, because you get blowout after blowout after blowout, and all of a sudden you're in a tight game. You got to make a key stop. You have to hit a key shot in the final minute or two, and you haven't done that a ton of times before. So this is a Zags team that hasn't been in a single game that was decided by less than 10 points since their win at against Arizona at the Staples Center. That was back on December 3rd. They won that game by 7 over the Wildcats. The Wildcats weren't as good then as they are now, but that end game definitely a concern for the Zags, and potentially so is the pace of this one, Paulie.
Yep, this would be great for college basketball to get a team undefeated into March. If the Zags can win this Saturday, they should be undefeated going into March, and then the conference tournament out here in Las Vegas, and heavy favorites then to get to the championship game where you might see the third meeting against St. Mary's. Hell of a team. Maybe few can finally get them to the Final Four. Money time, play of the day. Where are we going?
Well, let's talk about Gonzaga and St. Mary's. We don't have a total. We will see numbers posted later on today. Expect a number in the 130s. Anything at 130 or higher. We're going to take the Zags and the Gales under the total, He talked about St. Mary's deliberate pace. He talked about how well Gonzaga shot in the first meeting between these two teams. I'm expecting a slow down, very intense ball game, start to finish. This isn't a shootout. This is deliberate pace. Take the Zags and the Gales. Gonzaga, St. Mary's under the total. That's our play of the day.
Hey guys, for the full video, go to sbrpicks.com.
Research before you bet. Be sure to check out SBR Picks for the best game predictions, breakdowns, and much, much more.